Most people don't give a second thought to the chicken they buy at the grocery store. It seems simple, affordable, and familiar, but behind every package of neatly wrapped poultry lies a sprawling system built for one thing: profit. This episode peels back the sanitized packaging to reveal a chilling reality inside the world of conventional, antibiotic-fed chicken farming. The story begins in vast windowless warehouses, known in the industry as grow houses, where tens of thousands of chickens are crammed into a single building. These birds are bred to grow at unnatural speeds, reaching slaughter weight in just 6 weeks, the equivalent of a human baby ballooning to 600 pounds or 272 kilograms in 2 months. This rapid growth causes devastating health consequences: broken legs, heart attacks, painful deformities, and a life lived in filth, struggling to breathe amid clouds of ammonia from accumulated waste. But how is this possible? The secret weapon is antibiotics. Since the 1950s, antibiotics have been used not just to treat disease, but to promote faster growth. Though some regulations have changed, many of these drugs are still used under the guise of disease prevention. This constant exposure to antibiotics doesn't just affect chickens, it fuels a global health crisis. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria, often called superbugs, have found their breeding ground in these farms. These resistant strains can be passed to humans through contaminated meat, handling, and even the environment. In the US alone, antibiotic-resistant infections affect over 3 million people annually, with tens of thousands of deaths. Yet the industry continues to deny the severity of the problem. And it doesn't stop there. Even if you think the chicken is safe when it hits the shelves, think again. A staggering number of chicken products are contaminated with Salmonella and Campylobacter, two of the most dangerous foodborne pathogens. Despite this, the poultry lobby has fiercely resisted any effort to make food safety standards enforceable. 1 in 25 packages of chicken is contaminated with Salmonella. Many of these bacteria are resistant to multiple antibiotics. Scandals have erupted across major food chains, including Chick-fil-A and Foster Farms, involving drug-resistant strains leading to hospitalizations, paralysis, and even death. Add to this the gross negligence in processing plants, where whistleblowers report rotten-smelling meat, insect infestations, and inspectors literally sleeping on the job, and you have a recipe for a public health disaster. So why does this system persist? Because it's profitable. Chicken is marketed as a cheap, lean protein, and the economic model of fast antibiotic-fueled growth keeps prices low. But what consumers save at the checkout line, they pay for in hidden ways, through hospital bills, environmental degradation, and the slow erosion of life-saving antibiotics. This is not just a food issue, it's a societal one. And yet, few consumers know what truly goes on behind the scenes. As we close this chapter, we're left with a sobering realization. The chicken we eat is part of a dangerous cycle of corporate greed, weak regulation, and public misinformation. But the story doesn't end here. Let's shift the spotlight to the alternative, naturally grown chickens. Are they truly better, or is it just a cleaner-looking marketing trick? Having uncovered the unsettling truth behind conventional chicken farming, we now turn our attention to its alternative, naturally grown poultry. The organic, free-range, and pasture-raised labels promise a more ethical, sustainable, and healthier choice. But are these birds truly living better lives, or are we simply being sold a cleaner illusion? To begin, it's essential to understand what these terms actually mean. Organic is the most clearly defined and regulated label. Chickens labeled organic must be raised without antibiotics, fed a 100% certified organic diet free from GMOs and synthetic pesticides, and must have access to the outdoors. Their welfare is prioritized with space for exercise, exposure to sunlight, and an environment that supports natural behaviors. In contrast, free-range is far more ambiguous. Legally, it only requires that chickens have access to the outdoors, which in practice can mean a tiny door in a massive warehouse that leads to a small concrete pad, often ignored by the chickens entirely. Pasture-raised sounds idyllic, and when third-party verified, it can mean truly expansive outdoor space and high welfare standards. But the USDA has no formal definition for it, making the term vulnerable to misuse. What about animal welfare? In organic and properly certified pasture-raised systems, chickens are allowed to forage, roam, scratch, perch, and dust bathe. They grow more slowly, developing at natural rates, often over twice the time it takes a conventionally raised bird to reach market weight. These birds are less prone to injury, have stronger immune systems, and live significantly less stressful lives. The difference is clear when you see them. They are alert, active, and far more expressive in their behaviors compared to their conventional counterparts, which often lie immobile, panting from the weight of their unnaturally large bodies. Health benefits also arise from these improved conditions. Naturally raised chickens tend to have more favorable fat profiles, with higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and fewer inflammatory omega-6s. Their eggs often contain more vitamins and healthier cholesterol balances. These nutritional improvements are largely due to natural diets that include grasses, insects, and organic feed, a stark contrast to the grain-heavy, synthetic-laced diets of factory-farmed birds. While foodborne pathogens can still exist in organic or pasture-raised meat, better hygiene practices and healthier birds often result in lower rates of contamination. And importantly, there is no use of antibiotics, which means no contribution to the growing antibiotic resistance crisis. However, the picture isn't entirely perfect. Some companies exploit consumer trust by slapping labels like natural or free range on products that barely meet ethical or nutritional ideals. Investigations have found birds raised in overcrowded conditions under the guise of humane labels. Weak oversight and voluntary third-party certifications mean the industry can still deceive. Ultimately, the key to making informed decisions lies in understanding not just what the label says, but who is behind it and whether they are independently verified. So, are naturally grown chickens truly better? In many cases, yes, but only when the claims are backed by transparent practices and reliable certifications. In the next chapter, we dig deeper. We expose how corporate interests, political influence, and weak regulation continue to undermine real progress. We also explore what innovations are offering hope for a truly sustainable and ethical poultry future. Now that we've seen both the horrors of conventional farming and the promise and pitfalls of natural alternatives, it's time to pull the curtain back even further. The chicken industry is more than just farming. It is a tightly controlled system driven by economic forces, political lobbying, and regulatory loopholes. This final chapter uncovers the systemic failures propping up big chicken, while also spotlighting the growing movement of farmers, scientists, and consumers fighting back with innovation and integrity. At the heart of the issue is consolidation. Just 4 companies control roughly 60% of the US chicken market. This oligopoly includes giants like Tyson, Perdue, and Pilgrim's Pride, which dominate everything from hatcheries to processing plants. Most farmers are contract growers with little power, often forced into exploitative agreements where the corporations own the birds, the feed, and the processing terms. The farmers are left to shoulder the debt and risk. For consumers, this lack of competition means higher prices, fewer choices, and a marketplace flooded with misleading labels that imply health and ethical benefits that don't actually exist. The environmental cost is equally grim. Factory farms produce staggering amounts of waste. Manure pits leak into water supplies. Antibiotic residues and resistant bacteria seep into the soil. Air pollution from ammonia and particulates affects not just the chickens, but the surrounding communities, leading to asthma, cancer, and other chronic illnesses. Meanwhile, organic and free-range systems, when done right, offer a beacon of hope. They improve soil quality, foster biodiversity, and reduce the carbon footprint by integrating natural cycles and avoiding synthetic chemicals. But innovation isn't limited to traditional farms. Scientists and startups are revolutionizing the poultry landscape. Alternatives to antibiotics, like probiotics, enzymes, and bacteriophages, are already improving flock health. Controlled environment farming and precision agriculture are being used to monitor animal welfare in real time. Perhaps the most groundbreaking development is lab-grown chicken. By cultivating muscle tissue from a single cell, we can now produce meat without raising or slaughtering animals. This new technology dramatically reduces ethical concerns and environmental impact. While still expensive and not yet scalable, it presents a future where meat no longer requires suffering. That's the current hypothesis, of course, but we can already anticipate the mess that will arise when this technology is scaled. Despite these possibilities, progress is often met with fierce resistance. Industry lobbyists fight against even basic reforms, like enforceable salmonella standards. Government aid, instead of promoting sustainable practices, often subsidizes the very farms causing the most harm. However, change is still possible. Consumers have power. By supporting truly ethical producers, demanding transparency, and pushing for regulatory reform, we can help shift the industry. This episode began with a question: what's the difference between naturally grown and antibiotic-fed chickens? The answer is complex, but clear. The difference is not just in the feed or the label, it's in the philosophy, the science, and the impact on our health, planet, and ethics. Informed choices matter. By changing what's on our plates, we change the future of food. But this will not happen if we don't start by asking franchisers to act ethically. They are the main buyers of these unhealthy chickens. If you enjoyed this reveal, please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel for similar deep dives. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy,